Hello everyone, Linda Israel here, and I am working on a project, part of the Use It Up July, and a request from one of my followers on YouTube asked me to make a tropical themed flip book, if you will, flip notebook, flips tropical theme, I don't know. So I was going through my stuff and I thought, well, why not take, this is a mailer that a friend of mine received, and turn this into a little booklet that could be journaled in, a little flip journal, if you will. So I've grabbed a few pieces of paper. These were leftovers from projects. I know you probably have the stash of leftover stuff, and I thought what I would do is basically start covering this piece because I don't want to see what this looks like. So I'm going to open this up and then I'm going to start gluing bits and pieces of paper here. So let me get, this is my little glue pot. I've got a tutorial on how I made that with just some Lean's white glue and a few sponges. And so this is glue basically, and so I've got some scraps of paper here and I've got my little glue pot, and what I'm going to do is just start gluing on top of here, covering up what this looks like behind, and I'm going to kind of do it like a Frankenpage, and then I'll start decorating it. So I'm going to fast forward through this portion and I'll talk every once in a while as I get this glued together. The pieces that I put on the other side and it hangs off, I'm just going to fold these over and adhere them down, and that saves me the time of cutting paper to fit. In my stash, I have a whole bunch of wallpaper, and that's what this is, a scrap of wallpaper. Alright, so here's my new piece that I have added all the papers to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my sewing machine and I'm going to stitch around these, just adding a little more detail. Some of this probably won't ever be seen because there's going to be other things glued on top, but it just makes me feel good to use up these scraps and bits of paper that I have, using some junk mail and using it up. So I'll do some sewing and I'll be back. I have sewn around the elements and then I went ahead and folded it to be the book, flip book that we're making, the journal we're making. So randomly, and what I've done is when I sewed on one side, so here I sewed this and I used black thread in my top and my bottom, so it gave me some stitches on the other side as well. And I'm liking how this is turning out, that I have all these neat surfaces to use. So the next thing I'm going to do is start decorating and embellishing this, and I've grabbed a few supplies here. For example, I've got a few of these things that are pieces from my stash. I've got some canvas. This came with a bunch of other pieces that I got from Corp brands. This is a digital image from Calico Collage. It's from Summer Paradise. Some pink cardstock that was in my stash. And I thought what I would do is I would make a little element that goes on the front of this journal. So I'm going to add some distress ink around the edges of this. And I'll do the pink as well. I use a lot of ink, so whenever I buy an ink pad, I also buy the re-inker so that I can re-ink my pad. Now, if you don't have the re-inkers, you can also get the Distress Refresher, and you just spritz that on the pad, and it will refresh whatever color it is. So you don't have to have each individual bottle. You can use the Distress Refresher, but I prefer to have the actual ink whenever I am refreshing my ink pad. I was noticing it just wasn't quite as dark as I wanted it to be, and that's why I like to re-ink. While I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and ink the edges all the way around. Alright, I've decided that I'm not going to make it a perfect mat. I'm going to skew it just a little bit. And I'm going to go to my sewing machine and stitch around this image, stitching it to the burlap. And then what I'll do is I'll come back and I will stitch this portion to the cover. And that way it won't matter what the backside looks like because I know that I'm going to stitch, or not stitch, glue things on the other side. I've zigzagged and straight stitched around the cover piece, and then I'm going to attach this little label that I stamped. It says Ocean Air Salty Hair, and it's from a Stampability's Beach Life stamp set that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. I'm just going to attach that with some glue from Scrap Perfect. And then I have some tulip glitter paint. It's fabric paint. It's dimensional. And I want to color or give glitter to my flamingo. So I'm just going to go around and kind of add it. And then I've got a paintbrush that I'm going to use here to spread it out just a little bit. And while I'm at it, I'm going to add a little bit to this flower as well. Now I'll let this dry. I can sometimes use a heat tool to speed it up. Since it's rather thin, it shouldn't take very long to dry, but I'm going to use my heat tool so that I can flip it over and start working on the inside. Alright, so I pulled some things from my stash. These were leftover projects. They were, for example, this was a package of little bags, little paper bags, and I added the journal card, and this was a leftover piece from a Calico Collage mermaid tail journal kit, and so I put that inside there. This is from Summer Paradise, and I just added some glitter to the image. This was a Pawtuckalope that I made for one of my mermaid journals that I didn't use, and then this is a scrap that I turned into a tag. I haven't put a little thing on it, I may not. And then this is from some mixed media play. This is some clear texture paste going through a Brutus Monroe stencil, and then I zigzag stitched around it and sprayed it with some Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist. This is some Junior Legal note paper, so this is a Junior Legal notepad, and I trimmed it to be able to fit if this was a pocket, and I put a piece of cardstock on the back side, and then this was an element that I made for one of my mermaid journals, and I added some of the dimensional glitter paint. So let's assemble this, and I'm going to use the glue again on 3 sides. So I'm going to make this a pocket on the bottom of this journal page. So go right here. And then I want this at the top, so I'm going to adhere it down. And I may leave one side open so that if you had an additional tag, you could stick it behind. Put this somewhat in the center at the top here. I'm going to adhere the little Pawtuckalope on, so I'm going to go ahead and glue it all the way down so I don't have to worry about it coming off. And then when the glue dries all the way, I'll stick this journal card in here, and I'll stick this little notepad right there. I like to wait until my glue is dry before I stick things in the pockets because I've had them glued down. So it's not a pretty sight to have something glued down you work so hard on. Alright, so let's do something here in the middle. And what I have here is, this was from my napkin tutorial that I have. This was a piece that was left over that I did not use in that junk journal, and I have a tutorial on how to make the napkin pockets and a couple other elements. And I think I want that on the bottom here. And then I had a little mermaid tail that was left over from a project, and then I stamped Life is Better at the Beach, and that'll go down there. So I'm going to adhere these together and adhere it down to the page. So I've just put glue on 3 sides, and I'll put that right in here, making sure that I'm not getting too close to where the pages fold. And then I have a little envelope, library pocket type envelope that was from Calico Collage from the Mermaid Tail. And here's a journaling card from the Mermaid Tail that I've attached a little bit of some fabric on top. And this I'm going to adhere down up here. And I think I want to, you know, just in case the person that gets this, they may want to make that a pocket. So I'm just going to adhere it on 3 sides. And that'll be a hidden pocket that someone can use. And then I had a little label that was a leftover from the Summer Paradise journal that I made a while back. And I've added some little glitter on there. And I want this to be a tuck spot. So I'm just putting a little bit of glue across the bottom. And I'm going to stick that right on top of this little envelope, pocket, paper bag, envelope, I don't know what you want to call it. And then when this is dry, this little journal tag will go right there. And I think while I'm waiting for this to dry, now that I have 2 tags, I've got some ribbon laying here, and I think I'm just going to tie a little piece of ribbon to the top of that. So I've got some more little journaling cards that I'm going to put in this pocket, but I'm going to lay it, I don't want to put it down just yet because I'm afraid it'll stick. Alright, on this side I had this is supposed to be like a spine cover piece that you could put on the spine of your journal, and I thought, well, why couldn't I make that a vertical belly band? So I'm going to attach this at the top and the bottom. So I've just put a little bit of glue on the top and the bottom. I'll put it in the center of the page. And I've got some little journaling cards. I have a tutorial where I show how I made these, and those are going to go right here. So I'm going to wait for that to dry before I put them down. Let's flip this over. So now I've got 2 more surfaces here I need to embellish. And what I want to do here in the center is I'm going to make a little Hinge journaling card that comes out, so you can journal on the back side, and then you'll have a place to journal here. And I think I need to narrow this, so I'm going to trim it. You could use washi tape for this, but I'm going to use a scrap of paper. And what I'm going to do is adhere this to the back side of this card. So making sure I'm on the correct side. Just going to put a little bead of glue right down the side here. Then I'm going to lay this hinge piece. So I'm making sure that it's flush with the edge. And then I want this piece to adhere on the inside of that so that it'll hold it all in place. So I'm going to put glue right here and then place this right on top, making sure I got it centered and pressed into place. So this is a great way to add a page to your journal that is one piece and it doesn't have enough to really sew it down into your journal or to attach it. Make a paper hinge, and then what I'll do is I'll add some adhesive from Scrap Perfect's, what I'm using right here to the back side. Then I will center this, press into place. Make sure I'm not too high. So now you have a place to journal here, you have a place to journal on the back side, and you have a place to journal here. I'm going to repeat that process down here on the bottom as well. Alright, so I have a scrapbook page that was out of, I don't know, I bought a paper pad, and this was one of the pages in it. It was too big for most of the journals that I make, but I think it will fit here pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere this down, and I'm going to make it where it's a pocket, and maybe I can put a journaling card behind it. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this down. On 3 sides, I'm adding the adhesive. I found a journaling card that I'm going to put inside that once it's dry. And then I have another piece of this mixed media play that I've cut and put the stitching on. So I'm going to adhere it down on the bottom. And then I had a little corner that I cut off to make a tag for another project. So I'm going to make it a little tuck spot on the bottom of this pocket that I just adhered down. I've got another part of the envelope, or excuse me, the napkin that I adhered to a book page that I thought would fit right here. So I adhered that one down. I had a little seashell that was left over from a calico collage project. So I'm going to put some adhesive right here on the bottom and stick that down. I have another one of these large journaling cards that I thought could fit here, and I'm going to hinge this one. Let's go this way. So what I'm going to do is I've got some washi tape, and I'm going to cut a piece of this washi tape, and it's going to run from edge to edge of the card. I'll cut it flush. And then what I will do is I'll look at this and I'll place it pretty close to the edge and fold it over. And now you can write on this side and then you can flip it over and write on this side. And then I've got another little journaling card here. And I thought what I would do with this one is I would hinge it. Do I want to hinge that? I'll just glue it down and then leave one side open so that it can be a pocket. So I'm going to glue on 3 sides. And then this will be a journaling card that will go here. And then I have another journaling card that will go in the pocket. So then I'm going to flip this over, and this is the back. And I have a tutorial where I showed how to make this little tag booklet that has lots of pockets in it. And I had another one of these elements from Calico Collage, so I thought I would take that and make it a vertical belly band on the back side. So I'm going to adhere this at the top and the bottom. And then this tag will slide, once this is dry, right under here. So while I'm waiting for that to dry, a while back I picked up these coconut buckles from Hobby Lobby for 50 cents. They were normally $2, and I just couldn't pass them up because they were so cheap and so cute. And so what I've done is I've just taken a piece of fabric and looped it around and sewn it down. So this can then wrap around my journal, and then I just pull it through the buckle on both sides. And then that will be some of my decoration for the cover to help keep it closed. So let's flip through all of this and I'll show you what it looks like. Again, we've got the closure on the front, and that can just be taken completely off. I've used the burlap here and the Calico Collage images. There's no pocket on the front, it's just the way it looks right now. And then on the inside, we have a little pocket here that's got the petalope, and then behind that we have a journaling card, and then we have a tag at the top here. Then on this side, we have a flip out where you can write on here and here, and then this is a little journaling card there. And then here is a pocket, which kind of helps hold that in place. And then this flips over. And on this side, we've got 2 little journaling cards that I made from scraps. So I'm just going to slide those in there. Here in the middle, we've got a little pocket or library pocket that has a journaling card inside. And then here is a tuck spot. Another little pocket at the bottom with a couple of journaling cards there. And then if we flip this over, I I haven't put the cards in here yet because it wasn't dry. So here is a journaling card on this side. It's got a little mermaid in there. And then this journaling card will go down here. And then we have this that says swimmer that'll go in here. Then we've got a little tag and another little, this is an artist trading card size. I have a whole package of these, so I'm trying to use them as much as I can. And I just used the little scrap here. I'm going to add some ribbon to this one. And then on this side, I've made these little hinged pieces so you can write on the back sides. And then let's close this back up. And then on the very back, we have this little tag that goes underneath. Oh, I didn't get my glue on here. That's going to go underneath here. I'm going to attach this down a little better after I get off the video. So on the front, it has a little tag right here. And then on the inside, we have a tag here. Another little tag card there. Another little tuck spot here. This is a little envelope, so you can maybe put some sand in it. A little journaling card. Another journaling card. There's a journaling tag. There's little pockets on this little piece here. And then on the back has an embellished paper clip. And then there's another vertical belly band. And then this was a page that was left over from a journal. So slide that back in there. And then this is going to go, I've got to get my glue dry, but it's going to go right underneath that belly band right there. So there is a little flip junk journal booklet that I made out of truly junk. You saw that I used junk mail for the cover. I hope you like this. I hope it's inspiring to you to look at what you have and see how you can put it to good use. You can't tell that this was a piece of junk mail anymore. It looks like I deliberately made it this way. So I hope you like this. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. Comment below, what kind of junk do you have that you need to use, or things in your stash that you need to use? Are you following along? Do you like this Use It Up July that I'm doing? I'd love to hear your thoughts on what I'm doing and what you're doing to reduce your stash. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so. Use the description box to get links to my blog posts and the products that I used today, as well as my social media, including my Facebook groups. And let's see, what else? Share this video. If you find that others might be inspired by it, please share it. I greatly appreciate that. And I appreciate all of you that watch. Thanks so much for watching today. Have a fabulous day. Bye.